Anything you can hear now? How in the world do you get out of this stuff to learn it? How do I get out of the camera stuff?
What?
I just want to get out of the camera stuff. Oh, here we go. Video.
I just heard something.
Good. You're live. Speak.
Now it's on the side. No, you have to see me.
It's so live. Why is it not? Why is it not coming on? The invite is in your box.
No, it's coming through, but when you talk. Hello. It's not taking a picture of me.
Robert joined. So Robert's there. Can you hear it?
Yes.
You can hear us? But you know video. Can you hear Robert?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, right.
Your camera's not working for some reason. Oh, that's what's going on. Okay. Oh, shoot. I can't get a picture on your camera thing. There we go.
It's Robertson.
There we go.
I'm on.
You're on. There's you. See?
Yeah. Oh, I see.
Okay.
I can always. That's all I can see of me.
That's all you can see of me. You really want to see more of you? I can't figure out why you would be in. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can Robert hear me?
Robert's not on yet.
That's pretty bright back there. You're cutting off top of your head, you know that?
No.
Yeah. I'm seeing you over here.
Putting on my head.
Yeah.
Well, I got you on me. Am I picture really good?
Yeah, yeah, now you're good.
You see me?
You're good. So it's switching. And we're live. Okay. Can you hear everybody?
I can hear you.
Can you hear Robert Johnson?
No, he's not speaking yet. He's only a picture.
Wow.
Do you need to call him and find out if he's on?
No, he's on right here.
You can talk to him?
I can see him.
I see a picture of him. Is that him moving? He's
Yeah.
not moving.
Yeah.
No, he's not moving in mine. It's just a picture. I don't see it at all now.
Well, don't be turning it off. You're live. There's Robert. There's Robert. Your phone is just not in the place to handle that. You're fine. I can see you fine.
I just can't see Robert.
You can't see anybody else. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me, Robert Johnson? That's why I get the feedback when you're too close. Can you hear? Can you speak?
I can hear you speak.
Okay.
I just can't hear or see Robert.
Hey. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Robert? Can you hear me at all? You have no volume. I see you, but there is no volume. There's absolutely zero volume. There's no volume, and even on the phone, there's no volume. There's no volume. Now I'm trying to figure out if it was on my end. It's not on my end, actually. So, it's got to be something not plugged in. I can't even talk to you on the phone. I'm not hearing any voice from the phone. Yeah, now you're can you hear it? Well, you're switching it around. There you go. Robert, can you hear me? Your phone's muted. The phone's muted. Now I can hear. Yeah, I can hear you on the phone now.
Okay, I couldn't even hear you on the phone a minute ago.
Yeah, so you couldn't hear me, and Craig's on,
But he can't hear me.
but nobody can hear you. Nobody, I can only hear you on the phone.
You can't even hear me.
Right. I don't know what that's all about.
Oh, I can hear you.
You can hear him on there now? Okay, he can hear you now. Hang on one second.
You can hear me on the computer?
Kind of.
Yeah, he says he can, so that's a good thing. All right, let me go from here. Let me just, if you can talk, keep talking, Robert. Robert Johnson, talk.
All right.
Can you hear him?
Kind
Yeah, kind of. I'm going to try these. Let's see if I can get that. Okay, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. Yay! We're splitting a lot of pictures kind of flopping
I
around
can't
here.
hear very well out of this mic. I mean, I can hear you, and I'm hearing this. It's like
You can't hear?
he has to talk. I'm talking.
You have to talk, Robert Johnson, if you can. No. Oh, no. We're not hearing Robert Johnson. So, we were hearing you. Can you hear me? Robert Johnson speaks.
I think we should use your phone again, the way we did it last time. I can't hear very well. I won't be able to hear what he says.
Can't hear me, Robert Johnson? Nope.
Let's take this one off and put it down.
Are you there, Robert Johnson? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Robert? I can't hear you on the phone. There's no hearing you on the phone. Robert, can you hear me on the phone? I didn't need to try that. I needed to do it just like I had it. Ay, 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 ay. Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah. All right, let me try to set it. Possibly. I got a feeling they have been. So. Can you hear me any better now? I can hear you. Yep, I can hear you, but not on the phone.
Yeah.
Only on the phone.
Right. And that's all I've got for you as well.
I could see you visually.
See you too.
I can hear you.
How are you today?
I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to get off the phone, and I'm going to run it. Can you talk on the phone?
Yeah.
And still be on the camera?
Yeah, I can do that, I guess.
Yeah.
So what's our timeline?
Well, we got shorter time. That's all. Unbelievable. I'm good until 3 o'clock. 3:15. 3:15. I got a couple hours yet.
So I probably only have about 15 minutes.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Okay. All right. So can you see Craig?
Nope, I don't see Craig. I was on that
He was
camera.
on this camera shot. Hey, hang on. I'll get him on.
Right now I'm showing he needs to come down. No?
What is it? All right, guys.
Great. How do we go off that one?
Okay. Priest. Okay. Yeah, it's right
It's
there.
upside down.
No, it's going in the back camera. It won't switch to the front. So that's the way she's gonna go. So yeah, we'll try it on there then. We'll go all the way back to the basics. All right, here we are again. We have 15 minutes. That's good.
Hello. Whoops.
How was your weekend?
I had a great weekend. It was good. It's good.
Good.
Yeah, I'm in San Diego. It keeps on coming off and on. Why does it keep coming off and on?
No idea why.
Whenever you're clicking,
It.
turn that one off.
I'm not hearing you very well.
You're not hearing me at all?
We're going to talk on that one and use this one to put that closer.
There we go. So, here we are.
All right. Well, let's get
Okay. So we have Craig. Craig, you got to kind of give me a chance to get in just a little bit. I'm not sure how that's all going to work, but that's so here we are. We have now we're not flickering back and forth, and you can hear me, correct?
I can hear you. I may need to just repeat every now and then. It's breaking up just a little bit, but I can't hear you.
But you can't. We're not getting you on.
You're talking into this.
I am.
Yes.
How are we talking into this? This is nothing on here.
Oh, okay. Then we're talking into that.
Yeah.
We need to bring that closer.
All right. Can you hear me now? Better?
Yes. Yes, much
Okay.
better.
And can you hear me?
I've got you now, Craig.
Great. Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
This is a very interesting conversation. where technology is really giving us the whirlwind for each day. I think it's going to get a little better. And then this day it even got better today. So the part that
While he's doing that, I was going to suggest that we arrange for you to learn the reading method. And that you can do.
Was that one more time, Craig?
Say it again.
I didn't hear you were going to suggest what happened.
I was going to suggest that we have you learn the reading method.
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
I would like to.
Get it firsthand for you.
You'll have to. Why don't you write down my phone number? Do you have a pen?
Yep, got one right here.
It's 858-945-5007.
Okay.
And then you'll send me a text that tells me, well, it'll come from you because it'll come on your phone, but send me a text and then give me your email address, and then I'll send you a link where you can go on and learn the reading method.
Okay. Terrific. All right, I'd love to do that.
And is it okay to charge you for the reading method? It's just a question. Or did you want me?
Well, I don't know.
It seems like what you're doing for me would be a trade-out. So what I will do is I will give you the reading method, and I'll send you a coupon code, and that way you use the coupon code, and it will cost you $1.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fair.
But I want you to know what I'm sending you is worth $300, and the reason I'm saying that is that what you're receiving is real important. It's a real value. It's extremely valuable, and it will be valuable to you. And I want you to get it, be excited about doing it, commit the time to doing it. It'll be 2.5 hours. You're going to print out when you go on. It'll give you things to print out. I want you to print everything out. I want you to do exactly. We'll talk just before you do it, so I make sure that I give you, make sure you understand it, exactly what to do, and then you'll go on for 2.5 hours, and when you're done, you'll call me back up. We'll go on Skype or we'll talk on the phone, and then you're going to read a list of words to me, and so I want to participate with you so that you have the strongest experience you could have, and see that what happened. So in the beginning, that there's a test, a pre-test, and I'll want you. I may send you. I probably will email you some documents that would make it easier for you to download them, so that I can actually hear you read the pre-test, and then you'll go on the reading method, and then after you've gone on the reading method, you'll take a walk. You come back, and then you'll do the review, and then you'll go on the exceptional sounds, and then you will call me back, and you'll read multi-syllable words, and that way I can listen. I can listen to it, and you can be aware, and I can tell you to go faster, I can clarify for you. It doesn't need to have that happen. It can go. It's good just by itself, but I want to do it because it's you. I want you to have the experience. So I can observe you, and we can acknowledge what was going on.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Craig, give me, if you would, a little feedback on our talk last week. What takeaways?
I had an insight this morning. Is that a stakeholder, a major stakeholder, is a grandmother or parent of a child, and specifically a grandparent, because they're invested in their grandchild doing, say, better than their own child.
Yeah, but can I say something about what a definition of a stakeholder is here? Or do you think that would be the definition of a stakeholder who has a vested interest in the receiving the money? Would that be an accurate description of what a stakeholder would be, Robert?
Okay, so making sure I'm hearing you correctly. You said
Receiving a monetary, receiving monetary funds would be a stakeholder. Is what the definition of a stakeholder is in this context.
Yeah, you could certainly expand into that. They would have a vested interest in seeing and getting some kind of results.
Okay, so the grandmother would have,
Yeah.
right? Okay, good. I didn't. That's
Right. Okay.
just trying to get clarified there.
Right. All right, so any other thoughts come to mind from our session last week?
Just got a feeling of excitement that you had some answers, and we're going to put things in a certain container for me that I could then access to use to reach the rest of the world and teach them how to read.
Okay, all right. Well, I hope you're right. Let's see how that plays out. Well, I got to figure out my sound here. I'm sorry we didn't get to spend a lot of time today, but I would like to ask you to think about what you think the obstacles are that are likely to surface for you as you try to move these ideas forward.
We kind of talked about that last time. The obstacles was the status quo. Would be the politics. There was the availability for people to have a computer or to have an iPad. But mainly was an attitude of instructors in schools towards having to spend their time and then not knowing what to do with their time.
Okay. So we talked extensively about the system and the politics of the system last time. I've been really thinking about how convoluted that really is. Before we start jumping into my thoughts and ideas, let me ask you. So we had this conversation last week. Are there some specific actions that come to mind for you? Some things that aha moments that you say, we ought to try doing this in order to move this forward. I'm going to take some notes here today if you're talking.
Yeah, I think that it's people believing a belief system that someone could learn to read in 2.5 hours. That seems to be a challenge. People, they trust me to tell them the truth, but what I'm telling them is that something they believe takes hours and weeks and months and days, sometimes 12 years, that I can have happen for anyone in 2.5 hours. That's a challenge to people's belief system. Like even a challenge to you. You had some challenges when you're reading. You know what your challenges are now, and you've worked all your life, and you're over 30 years old, and you have realized. I'm going to tell you that you, Robert Johnson, you and I are going to go on and learn the reading method, and I'm going to have you do that. in 2.5 hours, you're going to be a different person. You're going to look at words and understand your world differently. And no matter what I say, you don't believe that until you've experienced it. So my way of what I've decided to do when I go up to San Francisco is to give a class in the morning and talk about the reading method, and then have lunch, and then afterwards have them come back and actually go on and do the reading method so they can have their own experience. When they have their own experience, then they have a credibility, so when they go to other people, and then people say, well, did you try it, or have you had your own experience? They can talk about their own experience, and because the people trust them, then they may believe them. But even if they don't believe them, then they're going to say, well, I'm the principal of the school, and I want to experience this myself. I want to see what my students are going to experience, so they need now to hear it also. And so there are tiers until I get to my actual student who needs to learn the reading method.
Yeah. So, as I'm writing this down, what comes to mind is that this is such a short payback. The payback time is so short. Have you thought about taking a few students and actually doing a video before and after?
Yeah, and I have that available, and I can show that, and I have that in my presentation materials where they show the adult students, having trouble with really typical words, and then the word is printed on the screen that they're reading, and they read it, and they don't pronounce it correctly, and they are real stumbling. And then afterwards, they read a whole bunch of words, and they read them, and they're bigger words, and they read them very quickly, and they get them all correct. So that's on my website, and I have a presentation video and I've shortened it down to 6 minutes, but it's 9 minutes, 12-minute video.
Have you seen this video, Robert?
Yes, I have. And the video, I would say, does depict the before and afters, but I am not sure that they can really get the essence of the communication. It's sort of like, how do they? It's like the dilemma we have with Rp3. We go from, you can see the vision, okay, and the dream, and there's many different strategies to get to that process. Well, you can see the change in the person, but it's that believability in that process that it would happen for them.
You mean like it's just too good to be true?
Yeah, it's too good to be true.
Well, that's the whole problem, is building the trust relationship and having the transference take place. I mean, like, specific people who know you always tell the truth. You go to them and you say, I'm going to tell you I had an experience, and they're going to believe you. And they're going to believe you because you're you. And then you're going to say, I'll show you a video. I'm going to show you what happened with the students, and then that you show them the video, or you have them look at the video, and they're going to believe the video based on the fact you believe the video and because you endorsed it because you had your own experience.
Yeah, okay. So have you... so let me just pause here for a process moment, okay? So what we're doing now is we're looking at this, what I call the search map. What we're doing is we're looking for, or searching for things that we can do in order to move this forward. You've got this system, you've got politicians, you've got these groups that are very suspicious, you've got groups that are large and kind of unwieldy. They want something that they can point to and make a difference within a certain time frame. Okay, for politicians, members, within the time frame of their tenure as congressman, senator, president, whatever that is. Teachers are the same way. So what we're looking for now are ways to introduce this idea in order to get them to discover what you already know.
Okay, well, one thing that just occurs to me, Robert, is that there's a man by the name of Salman Khan, and he has the Khan Institute, and he's supported by Bill Gates and several different charities. And he is, and there's enough statistics to support now with research that an online method of teaching something, that people learning online from an instructor, is successful. And that is a very viable way of learning versus being in a classroom with a teacher. So he has set the stage for doing that. However, I beat everybody on every level. 2.5 hours and a total life-changing transformation is hard to believe. And then one other little interesting sideline to share with you is that, and I found this true in mental health when I was working as a psychiatric social worker. I have say a mother, and the mother is known as having a son who's dyslexic. And she's involved in the dyslexic associations, and she's really active. And people are involved in make a living based on being in a dyslexic association. Well, I come to her and I say, I can teach your son to read in 2.5 hours. And her identity is based on that she has a son who can't read. And then I teach him to read, and she's not happy because she no longer has a son who's dyslexic, and then therefore no longer has a job to do and an identity based on that she, for her, has a son who's dyslexic. And is very much invested in dyslexia being something that can't be solved and is bad. Her son has always been somewhat under the weather. And usually if it's a woman in charge of the organization, then she says, and my husband has the same problem too. Meaning that's where he inherited his disability from his mom. When I come and reveal that you can learn to read quite easily and that you're actually really smart if you can't read, then now he inherited his brilliance from his father and not his lesser degree of intelligence.
Okay. All right, so you give me a couple things here that I think are fascinating. So let me back up to the video piece. It sounds like this is something that's almost, I can't think of a word other than like, documentary kind of quality. And that is, telling the story of a person through the eyes of his or her teacher before, these are the grades, the difficulty the person's having, talk to the parents, have the person try to read, and just create that angst, if you will.
You'll have to see the video, Robert, because the video is an overall about the universal reading method, and it has quotes from a neuroscientist who states clearly that he's observed people learning to read, and that this is like the Gutenberg press, that it's like incredible and a miracle. And then we have reading specialists who speak about their own personal experience where their daughter couldn't read, and then, or their niece, the niece couldn't read, and now she can read, and then they show the niece reading, and they show the niece, and they talk, and the reading specialist endorses us in a video. So we have this whole, it's a 6-minute video, so we have pieces, and then in the very beginning we introduce them to some adult students who couldn't read up in Los Angeles, and they don't read, and we show the pictures of the words so they can really see clearly that these are words that they were trying to read and they couldn't read. And then we tell the story of and show people getting their driver's license and filling out job applications, and introduces you to myself and many different people that are involved, who are psychologists and different people. So then we show, after we've talked about who and how and why, and then we pop up with those same people and we have them read. Now, I wasn't aware that there was any credibility issue with that video. That's the best we've ever been able to do, is to show this to contrast. It would just be, would the people believe us? Who are we? And have we set something up that's not true? But if we have credibility, if we have credibility, then we can. That's why having the reading method being taught and worked with and with the brain imaging is a big deal, because then we have UCSD saying, yeah, this is a true video. This is really what happened. This is it.
Yeah.
And not only that, but this is what the brain imaging said.
I'd like to see the video. It sounds like there may be a couple of videos hidden in there. One that simply shows the story of a person who can't, and then the person who can. The other expanded version might have all the scientific explanations behind why this works. The first video just kind of captures the person's, let's say it this way, the first video identifies with that person's pain. When you've got a child, or you, or whoever it is in your family who can't read, and I can solve that problem.
Right.
And the second video gives all the other pieces to it. Well, let me ask you a couple of questions. First, let me go back to Samuel Kahn. So, I'm familiar with the Kahn Institute and, the whole online learning piece that he's put together. Did I hear you right saying that he was, or his approach is helping or hurting?
No, it's supportive, because it breaks through the model. The educational and academic organizations want to convince you we need more teachers, and that the teachers being in the face of the student is positive, and that we want to have more schools and put our money towards schools and education, and have more teachers. Well, the reality is that the honest truth is that learning online, like I teach it, is far better than having a teacher in front of a classroom. Because the teacher who is in the classroom comes before the class and says, I want you to sit down. I want you to be quiet. I'm in charge here. You're not. And there's this power struggle. Well, when they go on the reading method, I'm not the teacher. I'm just a facilitator. I'm just a voice. It could be a Mickey Mouse. And then they sit down and they get into their mode that they have when they do a video game. It's the reason they like video games, because there's nobody telling them what to do. And there's no real person there. They're all objects. So I just go in and teach the reading method, and they learn. And they don't hate me, and they don't wonder if I like them, and they don't know if they like me. It doesn't matter. In fact, I'm a movie star. If I'm actually in the room, they sometimes look around and go, wow, you're the guy that's on the movie. It's a big deal that I'm the movie star.
So you've got the benefit right now of being in the era of YouTube instruction. People are accustomed to that. I need something. I need to learn how to do something. Like I was just with somebody just last week. Their battery ran dead in the car, and it was one of these fancy sports cars, and they couldn't find the battery. So they went online. It asked you to the instructions on how to find this battery. So that's becoming commonplace. So people are comfortable with the learning approaches as what you're describing. So that's good. But the other thing that's interesting that you talked about is people who are helping these people. And it's for this parents, husbands, wives,
grandmother,
people who are instructing them. And what I hear you hint at is when you help, if your system comes in and it helps and gives these people now their independence, or a mother who's got an autistic child who can now function, then that person has
they got fired.
Yeah, they feel like they have a diminished need in the other person's life.
Right.
Okay? And how do you for adults. You come in and say, I can teach you how to read in 2.5 hours. They got a contract for a year. Okay, so what do I now do for the next 11 months and 3 weeks and 5 days, whatever it is? But then you also have this whole family thing where a person's life has been built around giving the other person or meeting the other person's need.
Well, now in a competition between mom and dad, he's stupid because dad's stupid and mom's superior, and all of a sudden we find out it's a reversal, and not knowing how to learn to read, knowing how to read was brilliant, and now they learn to read. It's like, well, then he's always been really smart, and now he can read as well, and dad learns at the same time. All of a sudden mom takes a back seat.
So how have you been dealing with that as a challenge?
I don't tell them. I stick them with it. I don't tell them. I just tell them that they care about their son learning to read, and they say, oh, I can teach them to read, and then we do it. I don't tell them what could possibly happen in the psychology of their family, but immediately I see, because I hear them from the beginning, yeah, he can't read, and neither can his father. And his grandfather had some troubles with that too. And I'm going, oh, and she's saying, my side of the family was smart. His side of the family wasn't. So I don't say anything. I just listen and go, well, let's just teach him to read, and we'll see how he does. I think you might be surprised. So, and then sometimes they even prevent the father from hearing the reading method because they don't want him to step forward. I want to try something on with you because you just had the experience, okay? So one of the problems is, I believe, but I haven't explored it, but I think you and I can explore it because you have the experience. Okay, so, and this is not, I'm not picking on you, it's not uncommon, okay? So I come to you, and I know there's other variables, but let's just stay with the variable of the reading method. But okay, so I come to you and say, I have the reading method, and Robert, I want you to learn the reading method, and it costs $300, and would you be willing to pay for it? Now, we obviously have this interaction. You're giving me something, I'm giving you something. But the matter would be, in your mind, all your life, you've been aware that since you were a young person that you were challenged with reading, and you got picked on when you were younger, and now you're an adult. You've overcome that by memorizing words, but nonetheless, there's still that little piece in the back that that you weren't like the other kids. So I'm going to provide that. In 2.5 hours, that's going to be all gone, and I promise you that it's going to be a superior experience for you. It's going to really help you. And then I hit you up and say, well, would you like to pay $300 for it? So, and then we agree that because there's a trade-out, and it's all reasonable, and I'm not bumping you for the money, but I want you to know what it felt like, because you're the student at that point. And then you went, well, do you want to spend $300? Well, I don't know. I would think I'd rather spend $300 and take my wife on a vacation. Or, God, I've got that bill coming up that I got to pay, and and you want me to pay $300, and I don't know if I can really afford it. But yeah, it sounds like a good idea. Why don't I get back to you? You understand? The prioritizing this learning to read, and well, I've already lived my life for a long time, and I'm really not that worried about my reading anymore. It's not a big deal for me, and obviously I'm not sitting in any circles in a school where they're telling me I'm dumb and stupid. So, and I've definitely got an education, and how important is it really, right? Okay, so that's a problem. I mean, that's not just your problem, and not that you have a problem, but it's a challenge because the person how do we convince the person that it's a priority, that literacy is important, and that it's of the utmost important? I want you to know that from where I'm standing, knowing what happens, I would have you learn the reading method tomorrow and do nothing else besides that, and make that the most important thing you did for the whole year. Okay, that's what I know about it. And that is not where I'm going to reach you.
Okay. Right. So, when you talk to people, do you ask, why do you want to learn to read?
I ask people to be committed when they start the reading, when they come to me. First of all, they come with a need. I don't know them otherwise. So either their mother, their grandmother, or themselves, because it doesn't have an age involved, and everyone assumes it's children, and they focus on children, but it isn't. It's really adults. There's 90 million adults in the United States who are unable to read. So So when they come, I just tell them I need you to be committed that you want to learn to read. Do you want to learn to read? Yes, I do. You're here. No one made you come. No, I want to be here. Okay, so I need you to commit to doing the whole thing. I want you to participate, and I want you to go from start to finish for 2.5 hours. You can't look at your phone. You can't do anything else. You just have to do what I say on the video. Are you willing to do that? Yes, I am willing to do that. Then I have them do it, and they do it.
Okay. All right, so I just got a few minutes here before I've got to wrap up. So let me play back what I'm kind of hearing. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
All right, good. And so, as I said, we're starting to look at some of the options that you've got and some of the things that you're going to run into, that you're likely to run into. The option is that the first one is telling a story. That's not really an option. I think that's something you've got to do. I haven't seen your video, but there was an old, I remember when my kids were in school, there was an old video that talked about taking tests. And it was, talking to kids who just don't do well on tests. And the title of the video was Where There's a Will, There's an A. And where there's a will, there's an A. And, we saw it on some infomercial, if you're a parent, you want your kid to do well in school, order this video. And they sent this video for free. We saw this video, and, we could see ourselves in that video. And one of the things, and Robert, you know this, is that the people want is when you show them, when you talk about the picture, you need to show the picture in a way that they can see themselves in the picture in order for that picture to have relevance to them. So I haven't seen your video, but I think your process is perfect for just telling a story. Now, reading is something that everybody runs into at some point. I mean, they just have to be on the planet, and at some point you're going to have to run into a reading scenario, whether it's reading a traffic sign or reading to go to the school, whatever that is. So reading is part of language. So a great story, short, that shows start to finish, and in a way so that people can see themselves in that picture is something that your process lends itself to. The other piece is maybe you get somebody on your staff, but this isn't part of the video. This is just listening to you describe the impact of success. Success for you is having the person read, but as we talked about in our certification program, whenever you have success, you're also shifting the structure of the environment. Some people call it power, and whatever that support thing is around them, that will now create some kind of vacuum. And the people that you didn't think about are going to have to do something else to fill in that vacuum. So if that vacuum is, I had a kid who had autism who needed me, my life was built around that. Now the kid can read, now what do I do? Or people in your centers, get the 12-month contract, you come in, teach kids how to read in 2.5 hours, now what do we do? Well, you may think about some kind of engaging a psychologist to help think through what happens next. Success is really the seed of whatever that next step is. A lot of people aren't asking themselves, so what's that next step? That next step is some kind of opportunity for the support person and for the person who's learning how to read. So reading is really just the seed. That seed is not going to take us someplace else for both parties. The third piece is the personal reason for wanting to read. And it's got to be
Well, let me add something that's very significant. I was in Hawaii, and I taught a guy, and he was about 50 years old, and he had his own business, and he was a Hawaiian guy, and he was had a girlfriend, and he loved her, and they wanted to have children, and he felt that his brain was broken, and that if he had children with her, then his children would inherit his broken brain. Hmm?
He told he was going to pass on this deficiency.
Yeah, but a broken brain, I mean, a bad thing because it had been so bad for him. So he stopped dating her, and they didn't get married. And when I taught him the reading method, and he learned in 2.5 hours, I said to him, "What are you going to do next?" And he said, "I'm going to ask her out to dinner." And I said, "Really?" He says, "Yeah." He says, "We still love each other."
So think about it this way. If you can't read, it's like you're hiding in plain sight. I mean, everybody knows you, but everybody doesn't know that you can't read.
No.
Okay, so how do I function from day to day? How do I have friends? How do I have family? How do I have a job? How do I do anything in a way that doesn't reveal my true vulnerability? It's like living in a country and being an illegal alien. I've got to function. I've got to live. I've got to do all the things that everybody else does just to survive. How do I do that? Knowing that I've got this thing let go over my shoulder. That's a pretty heavy burden to carry.
Okay, and let's add to that, Robert. Let's add to that. And I'm going to use a gestalt because I use you. Okay. Let's say that you really have trouble reading. You're just not going to tell me. And you've always had trouble reading, but you've overcome it and you've worked through it. But it's really been a bitch for you the whole time. Okay, so I teach you to read. You come to me and say, "I've had a little problem with reading. I'm interested. Teach me the reading method." I'm not going to tell you how bad it was for me or how bad it is now for me. I'm having a little challenge with it, but I'd like to learn the reading method. So I teach you the reading method, and you go to the moon. I mean, absolutely, and you will. You're just going to go to the moon with reading. You're not going to tell anybody, "You know what, before I had this reading method, I couldn't read." Because you've been lying for the last umpteen years that you do read, and you've never told anybody. So you're not going to go ahead and announce now, the brilliant guy I was, the doctor I was, the administrator I was, the teacher I was, I didn't know how to read, I was faking it the whole time. You're not going to tell anybody. So I want you to now endorse us and tell us, everybody, what a great experience you had. And you say, "Yeah, I'll have to get to you on that one. Let me think about that. I don't know exactly what I want to say." But the bottom line is, you don't want anybody to know. You've been keeping the secret for all this. You want to keep the secret. You just want to go on in your life now as a reader.
Sure.
But you don't want to ever tell them that you were fudging at any time.
Right.
So that's a problem because the non-reader doesn't want to. I mean, I've had parents say, "Junior's had a little trouble at school. He's being held back, and he's having a little bit of issue with reading, and we'd just like you to work with him." And I pre-tested Junior, and Junior couldn't read to save his life. And so then I teach him the reading method, and now Junior reads 475 multi-syllable words from the GED, and he can read everything. And they go, "God, thanks a lot. That was really great. We love you." And then I never hear from him. I can't even get him on the phone because I might tell somebody else that they can't read.
My wife was a school teacher, and every year, they do the assessments of kids at the beginning of the year to determine what kind of help they need. And you run into some kids who just need some kind of remedial help. And I'm often surprised that she, as parents, that she shares your kid needs this kind of help. And parents won't sign up for that help because it's like admitting that my kid is an underachiever. Right? But
only the dummies are going to go to that class.
Yeah, that's right.
The minute when you walk in the door, you're identified as one of the dummies, and you've been able to pass through this for years.
Right. I'm listening to everybody wants to do it, and if you can do those things, that really says that you're pretty smart. But you and I know fundamental building block of being perceived that way is being able to read it. You can't read it. You can't get great SAT scores. So is there a way to describe this in a way that people can connect with something that's desirable, safe, achievable, that reading will allow them to accomplish? Are you following me?
Yeah, one of the things, I was at Berkeley and I taught students at Berkeley that were on scholarship. And the NC2A is kind of coming down on schools. And they're going to require a certain scholastic aptitude to become an athlete, play football, say at Berkeley, at Cal.
Okay.
Well, if I tell them that the reading method will help them reach the scholastic place that they need to have a scholarship to Berkeley and play football or volleyball or whatever, then I don't talk about them not being able to do something. I'm talking about this is going to avail them to do something.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So and then again, if I have those people, and it's still hard to get an athlete who I taught to read to admit he couldn't read before, but if I can get him to talk about that he was challenged and once he got to school with the scholastic requirement and that he was going to have to sit out a whole semester because he couldn't reach that level, and that learning the reading method really helped. And also even calling it a reading method. I mean, that's the question I've come up with is, should we change it from what we call the reading method? Because reading is only one of the many things that, I mean, like when you personally do it, your reading is going to improve, but you're going to notice a whole bunch of other stuff about yourself.
Absolutely.
Because it's going to change your brain. I mean, it really is going to change your brain. So you'll experience what your brain change feels like.
Right. So you're defining a goal that athlete wants to achieve.
Right.
And if you know that the context of that goal is, or the foundation of that goal is reading, you can't go in and say, let me teach you how to read. You want to say, let me teach you how to stay on the team. And in order to do that, these are the things that you're going to need. So staying on the team is something he or she wants to do. Learning how to read is something that they will have to do in order to make that happen. But they don't have to admit their deficiency. Okay?
And that's why if I can convince people that brilliant people, you have to be brilliant to not know how to read. It's a sign of brilliance. When you can't read, it means that you're probably brilliant, you just can't read.
And to survive and function in today's society.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if you can't read, and you know, when the times when you were challenged with reading, and everybody goes up to the McDonald's and they all order their hamburger, and you stand there and go, I think I'll have what he had, because they can't read the board, and they know they can't read the board.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, or it could be that they go down to the DMV and they have to take that test, and they want the car. I mean, they want to get in the back seat with their girlfriend, you know, at 16, and they can't get in the car because they can't get the license, so they go down, and they don't really want to tell the lady, I really can't take the test. So just learning the reading method allows them to take the test. Or dad goes, you know what, I want that job, and I'm the greatest, you know, welder in the world. Do you know how well I do that in the garage? But they want me to fill out this application, and I can't. Or Mildred's got a grandmother, and she goes down to the university hospital, and they give her all this stuff, and she has to sign everything, and she can't. And so her mother-in-law doesn't get any medicine. Or she gets the medicine, and she goes, well, how do I do it? And they go, here's all the information about how to take the medicine, to be careful, and don't take it with milk, and on and on and on. And they go, shoot, I can't read. I might give her this pill, and then she drinks orange juice, and she'll die.
Yeah.
Now they can read the information. And those are incentives, major incentives for wanting to know to read.
I know families who continue in, I guess I use the word poverty, certainly, lesser paying circumstances than they need to be, because the mom or the dad is afraid to accept a higher paying job, a promotion, because that promotion might mean that they would have to read. Okay? So rather than risk that, they continue to work in a lower paying job where they know it's safe, they know all the ins and
Well, and even like if you take it to the street, okay, a guy's a drug dealer. He's a good drug dealer, sells a lot of drugs, making some money and selling drugs. And then he goes down and he says, I don't want to be a drug dealer anymore. I don't want to go to jail and whatever. I want to get a regular job. He goes down and takes the job, and they like him. He's got himself a haircut, and he's cleaned himself up. He goes, then they apply, and they say, show up tomorrow. When you show up tomorrow, when we're just going to have a brief introduction in the morning, you're going to read through some material, and there's a handbook we need you to check out, and then you'll start at 10 o'clock in the morning. So be sure to be here at 8. He doesn't show up. He qualified for the job. They loved him. They wanted to give him the job. He could do the job, but he can't go through the handbook. So he didn't show up. I mean, I have students like that didn't show up. Now they show up.
Right. Okay. All right. So I'm going to have to go, gentlemen, but where we are is I'd like to take the ideas we've kind of talked about here today, and we have this thing that we call developing the scenarios or testing the ideas. And we talked next. Let's test some of these ideas based on what we think the challenges are.
One of the things if I could suggest would be that one is I send you our video and our website, which I can tell you is www.yesyoucanreadnow.com. www.yesyoucanreadnow.com. And so what I'd like you to do is to look at what we're presenting, and then you're going to send me your email address, and so I will email you a written summary that gives you a host of things you can look at that you may evaluate as being good or bad. And it's an answer to your questions. Do I have this? Do I have that? And the answer is yes, but I want you to see them. And then this third thing is I'll send you the reading method with the coupon code. And then I want you to commit to doing it. I don't care if it's a Saturday, it can be in the evening. I'll do whatever you want. And I want you to do the reading method. And at that point in time, then now you really know what we're talking about, and I think you're going to come up with a zillion ideas once you get that information.
All right, sounds good.
Will you do that?
All right, I'll break it down. YesYouCanRead.com.
Yeah.
And I'll check the
Yes, you can read now. Yes, you can read now.com. Okay. Now the other one I'll give you, because you're still on, is that I want you to write down www.yescourse.com, yescourse.com, /store, S-T-O-R-E, /universal reading method. Okay, that's our online reading method, and the coupon code for that is all capital, affiliate, AFFILIATE, X, affiliate X, all one word, all caps.
Say that again,
affiliate X, like the X-ray, but X.
Okay.
X.
X is capital?
Everything is, yeah, and there's no dashes, nothing between it, just affiliate X.
So the whole word, affiliate, is capitalized?
Yes, and so is the X, and X is too. So now you have the magic code that allows you to go on the reading method by yourself, but what I would recommend is that you do that. You call and tell me when you're going to do it. We talked just before. I'll wait 2.5 hours. You're going to call me at the end, and you'll read some words with me, and we got to talk about what happened for you.
Okay. All right, you got it here.
And I'm absolutely serious. It's going to knock your socks off. Your personal socks, the ones that you wear all the time. You're going to go, where do they go? Craig, you told me I was going to slip them off.
Well, we sure wear some socks I can afford to lose.
Yes.
All right.
I want to thank you guys for being here today. And, you know, Robert, I appreciate the questions. And we actually are still in the search of uncovering the questions of of Yes You Can Read Now and the universal reading method, and what is possible that we could come up with a strategy that would actually take them through, that we could actually implement here. So maybe it's another conversation, but it's more exploration. And thank you, Robert Johnson, for being here, and Craig Collins, and appreciate that.
Okay, you have my phone number, so you're going to send me your email address so I can send you a summary.
Yeah, I'm going to text it to you. Great. Great, Craig. Good to see you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.